Gap expanding in its favor. Republicans need 6 seats, as you probably know, to win control of the Senate. Many races once seen as out of reach are now turning competitive. And the turnaround in the party's fortunes coming as some Democrats back away from President Obama, seeming to keep him at arm's length on the campaign trail. Bret Baier is anchor of Special Report. Is it all about Obamacare, or is there something else afoot here, Bret?
Hey, John, good afternoon. It is a lot about Obamacare for Republicans. They believe that issue has changed the entire dynamic, and fundraising efforts have improved in the wake, they say, of what has been a horrible rollout of Obamacare. And there is this increased confidence in the Republican side that they can pick up those 6 seats. There's a long way, as you mentioned, between here and November, and a lot can happen, especially in primaries around the country. So a lot of Republicans are cautiously optimistic, some more optimistic than others.
The Politico website today had this interesting headline. It says, White House's Senate strategy, keep Obama away. And it goes on to quote a number of Democrat and some Republican senators regarding the president's ability to influence races this time around. Mark Begich, Democrat of Alaska, who is running for re-election, says, I don't care to have him campaign for me. I'd rather him come up to see where his policies aren't working. That's a pretty bold statement to say to your fellow Democrat when he is leader of your party.
Sure, but in those states, like Alaska, like Louisiana, like Georgia, for that matter, North Carolina, the president's approval ratings are underwater. They're upside down. And a visit by President Obama likely would not help those candidates. Now, he likely will help those candidates in other ways. He's doing a number of fundraising efforts, including one in a couple of weeks here in the Washington area for the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. So he'll raise money that way. But as far as individual campaigning in those states, Democrats will likely deploy Vice President Biden, First Lady Michelle Obama, maybe even Hillary Clinton to states where the president's approval is not too good.
Well, Alaska is a long way from Washington, D.C., and I suppose Senator Begich can expect he likely wouldn't be getting a presidential visit anyway. But then there are some Democrats who are a bit more circumspect. Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire said this when asked about the possibility of a presidential campaign visit. She says, you know, I campaigned with the president in 2012. He may come back. I don't know what he's going to do. Talk about a lukewarm endorsement, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know, Jeanne Shaheen faces the prospect of former Senator Scott Brown getting in that race. And according to polls, that could be a close race, or at least put that race on the map competitively. And if you look at the map, Democrats are defending 5 out of 10 states where the president is unpopular. And if they expand that map a little bit more, New Hampshire, Michigan, Iowa, where Republicans, or at least prospective Republican candidates, are polling well, you have a situation where Democrats look vulnerable. And if you look at the history books, since 1914, the party in power in the White House has averaged a loss of 6 Senate seats for that midterm election. You know, the Republicans need 6 to pick up the Senate.
But if you look at more recent history, I mean, Republicans were pretty confident about their prospects the last 2 times and shot themselves in the foot with candidates who didn't prove up to snuff.
Oh, that's right. 2010, 2012, both times where the Republicans could have picked up the Senate. And arguably, many in the party believe because of choices made of the candidates in the primaries winning, that they were less likely to win in a general election in those particular states. So I think that's where the real battle is going to be, and that will determine how Republicans set up for the fall, is really the primary battles that start in March.
And a lot of this obviously will go a long way to determine what President Obama's legacy ultimately is. Bret Baier, I'm sure you'll be talking about it tonight on Special Report. Thanks for joining us today.